Morning, everyone. Happy Friday. We are going to finish what we started yesterday with comparing fractions, but today we're going to focus on fractions greater than one whole. Before we do that, I just want to remind you that you should all have your week 6 and 7 packet because we're going to start on week 6 on Monday. Also, we have no math team lesson today, but we do have a class meeting at 1:30 where we're just going to check in and see how everyone is doing. All right, let's get started. So we are going to take a look at putting fractions greater than one whole on a number line. So the thing about fractions greater than one whole is we can now change our number line benchmarks to 1 whole, 1.5, and 2. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to change all of these improper fractions to mixed numbers. So 7/4, I know that 4/4 equals 1 whole. So in my mind, I'm taking 4/4 away, and I know that 3/4 are left. So it's 1 whole and 3/4. You can also use a number bond, and we're going to go over the number bond in just a second. So this is 3/2. I know that 2/2 make a whole, and that just leaves 1/2 left, so it's 1 and 1/2. Oh, and that's one of our benchmarks, so that makes things really easy. Last, 11/8. I know that 8/8 is 1 whole, so I'm going to pull 8/8 out and make that 1 whole. And then I ask myself how much is left, and 3/8 is left to get to 11/8. That 3 came out a little bit bigger than I wanted, but that's okay. So now this one, 3/2, we know is equivalent to 1.5. So I'm going to put 3/2 right here. One and 3/4. Well, I already know that 3/4 is greater than 1/2. So 1 and 3/4 is also going to be greater than 1.5. So it's going to fall right here. Just like 3/4 was in between 1 whole and 1/2. So 1 and 3/4 is going to be in between 1.5 and 2. And that was equal to 7/4. And I'm going to write that underneath. And 1 and 3/8. Well, I know that 4/8. Oh, here, let me erase that. I know that 4/8 is equal to 1/2, or 1 and 4/8 would be equal to 1.5. So 3/8 is going to just be 1/8 less, so that goes over here. 1 and 3/8. Okay, last but not least, we're going to look at how to change improper fractions into mixed numbers. So here, if we had 5/4, we're going to pull out 4/4 because 4/4 is equal to 1 whole, and then 1/4 is left, so it's 1 and 1/4. Then for this one, we know that 7/7 is equal to 1 whole. Then we ask ourselves, how many sevenths are left to get to 10/7? And it's 3 because you add 3 to 7 to get 10. So the numerators, if you add the numerators together, they should give you the numerator up top. I'm going to erase that because I just blocked out the 10. So that means I have 1 and 3/7. Now the last one, we know that 9/9 is equal to 1 whole. And then we ask ourselves, what do we add to 9 to get to 16? And it's 7. So it's going to be 1 whole and 7/9. All right, so you guys should be finishing up. This is the second part of day 4 of week 5. I know you started it yesterday. Maybe we even went ahead and finished it. But if you haven't, make sure you do that, and I will see you at 1:30 for our class meeting. See you guys later.